Hi and welcome to the channel. Today we will discuss principles and strategies from The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitake Koga. This book shares ideas of how to unshackle past limiting beliefs, reset current expectations, and enjoy life to its fullest at this very present moment. So let's dive straight in. The first principle is that our life is decided here and now. Far too often we allow past experiences and indoctrinations to rule our current decisions. Most fears and limiting beliefs are set during childhood, so deep down inside, the little child's voice still clings on to the directions of those who have influenced us in the past. As adults, we then experience unsavory moments that sometimes can shake our confidence and question whether we are really worthy. The book stresses that life really should not be that hard. Because if past experiences determine everything, then anyone living today would no longer be able to take effective steps forward. So, practice these practical tips for a better mindset right now. 1. Honestly reflect and discard any previous teachings or beliefs that do not bring you true happiness. 2. Disengage from those who make you feel obligated or duty-bound to act in a certain way. 3. Assign new meaning to any previous experiences as a springboard of learning. Following on from this, be aware of the power of interpersonal relationships. And with this, the key principle is that many emotions that we feel, for example, anger and disgust, is actually down to our own choosing. Emotions are actually a tool on how we want to interact with someone. To understand this further, we will look at an example of a parent who is reprimanding a child. The parent is angry and starts raising their voice to exert dominance and prove their point. Yet suddenly, a phone call from a friend causes the parent to revert to a pleasant phone conversation tone. Once the phone conversation is over, anger is then allowed to kick in again so that the parent could prove their point further to the child. So you see, we really can take ownership over our negative emotions. Having said that, I don't claim to have mastery over my emotions fully. However, a good starting point would be to take responsibility. To do this, discard phrases such as, "I cannot control my temper," or "I could not help myself." These are disempowering phrases that imply emotions are controlling you. Rather, admit, "I was angry, and I meant the words that I said because I truly believed in it." This way, at least you are taking the first steps of mastering your emotions. Then it is up to you to alter or control them in future challenges and interactions. This principle can be applied to managing inferiority complex or to handle the need to brag. Remember, your interpersonal skills will sometimes seek out validation. However, validation is pointless because ultimately you are the only one worrying about your appearance. So just embrace your strengths and go out swinging. Take the hits, but come back stronger. Which brings me to the next key point, which is to deny the desire for recognition. Recognition is built up as a panacea of achievement through medals, compliments, and awards. While it may seem nice to receive, embrace the mindset of the quiet achiever. Once you embrace this approach, you will find the need to satisfy the expectations of others suddenly feel unimportant. You will suddenly realize the need for competition and comparison is no longer relevant. And critically, you don't carry out activities or duties for rewards, because the actual reward is in the learning process itself and the feeling of self-fulfillment. Carrying out activities with the expectation of receiving something in return can actually lead to insincerity and potential heartache and disappointment. So ultimately, the root of liberation and freedom is strongly linked to this lack of desire for recognition. Make no mistake, it does not mean one should just rest on their laurels and go with the flow. If one seeks improvement, then seek fulfillment from that journey of growth, while reflecting of how far you have come from time to time. Ultimately, it is the inner reward of pride and joy from within that will far outweigh the external accolades and praise. Following on, it is worth practicing a degree of distance and separation between one another for the greater good of community. Or in other words, respecting others' space and beliefs while working collaboratively towards a greater goal. Broadly, communities or groups that are dominated by authoritative figureheads may see some degree of inner resentment and jealousy. This cannot be good for progress. On the other hand, a collaborative and conciliatory working relationship is critical, and this can be only achieved when each and everyone respects the distance and differences in opinion. This way, even when one disagrees with another's view, the receiving party will not feel insulted or resentful. Ego gets ditched, an amicable solution for moving forward is embraced, and this can be for the greater good of the larger group. While this notion is idealistic, it is fair to say that not everybody embraces such an approach. There are always people who cannot respect boundaries and try to impose their will. For example, overbearing parents who still try to influence their adult children's life, either via guilt trips or through their actions with their grandchildren. Or a friend who keeps overstaying their welcome without appreciating the need for time and space of their host. So how do we manage these challenges? Firstly, it is important to practice due respect and consideration to others ourselves. For if we cannot action something, then we have no right to ask for it. Then, honestly and openly air your concerns with all parties involved. Sometimes you may receive appreciation, but on the other hand, ego may prevent other parties from fully engaging constructively. If so, use your judgment to determine if future engagement is truly beneficial in the long run. Always remember though, don't seek recognition, you are never indebted to anyone. The last section summarizes this book into 3 cogs that ensure happy living. 1 is self-acceptance of who you are. 2 is to have confidence in those around you. And 3 is to always provide sincere service. And if we peel back the layers, self-acceptance is the first step to inner peace and calm. And by having confidence in the relationships that you build, you prevent the possible mind chatter of suspicion and jealousy. Finally, contributing sincerely will encourage those around you to also engage, to work together for a brighter and happier life. Ultimately, the possession of logic and knowledge is pointless without the psychology of practice. What I mean by this is that the tips and pointers set out in this video is only as good as the desire to action them. One must commit with courage and take action before they can see the true seeds of happiness and fulfillment. In addition, life is not a linear path. Rather, it is an array of speckled moments that lead us to our final destination. So plan all you want, but be open to adapt and make adjustments in your life. And by doing so, you will learn from the past, embrace yourself in the present, and obtain happiness at this very moment and in the future. With that, thank you for watching this video. Take care, and if you found value, please subscribe to the channel to support its growth. I look forward to seeing you all again next week.